and knowing that the truth of that statement, everything is happening for me, not to me, it takes us out of victim mode and puts us into that empowerment space. That if this
Right.
is happening for me, then let me dig a little deeper and see why and what I'm meant to bring forth because of that experience. So
Right.
that's very powerful.
Yeah.
I wanted to just highlight a few things that I love about you, Neha. I like how you take stories from India, from the religious text or from just the stories of your culture, and you break them down to an understanding of what they truly mean. I appreciate that so much because sometimes even, the Bible, we can quote things from the Bible, but if we go to the true meaning, it's what we talked about before, as above, so below, sacred geometry. What's happening within is happening without. They're all the same messages, but it's the way that people are taking in the story and perceiving them through their lens of perspective. So I appreciate that so much in the work that you do, how you break down those stories and bring them into context for this current time. So I just wanted to see if you could kind of speak to that, the way that
Yeah.
you utilize that and why it's
I love
important.
speaking, thanks, Leah, and I love
Mm,
speaking about it. Why? Because I thrive on stories.
mm,
I mean, I was not a very good student at school. Why? Because structure doesn't work for me. I mean, if you tell
mm,
me that these are the points and, just learn that, it doesn't work for me that way. I need to get into the depth of it, that why? Why is it
mm.
happening this way? Like, why does economics work this way? Or why does maths work this way? And
Yes.
why is 1 plus 1 equal 2 and not 3? So, the correlation of that to the stories that I learned today is these stories, they stay with us. And
Yes.
we just spoke about neuroplasticity and how all of us have a different background, so we understand the same thing in a different way.
Mm.
Stories kind of standardize them, and everybody picks up what they have to from that. Right?
Yes.
So in the Shiv Shakti story that I said, somebody would pick up Shiv, somebody would pick up Shakti, somebody would pick up Sun, somebody would pick up Moon.
Mm,
And so it is very open to uh, everybody has something to grasp from it, and that's the beauty about stories,
mm.
that again, it empowers you to see that what do you want to take away, but it's not telling you. I mean, of course, in schools we were taught that, so the conclusion of the story is this. You know how, I mean, I don't know about other systems, but here in India, the way we were taught was that we were told a story, and then we were also told that the only conclusion that you can get out of this story are these 2 points, and
Mm,
if you write any third point, you will not get marks.
mm.
You see,
The
so that was
systems.
exactly. So that was a way of limiting us. We became
Hmm.
rotary, which means that we just tried to learn what was being taught to us. But if you really look at the way to use story is it opens up a world to us. It's of our imagination, and each one then can pick up what they want to pick up from a story,
Mm.
and they stay with you, right? If imagine if I tell you a concept versus if I tell you the same concept through a story,
Yep.
right? So
Yes.
while I will tell you a story because you've enjoyed it, and you will have more takeaways from it, and you will remember it for long, and plus the way you will tell the story to someone else will be very different from the way I will tell the story, because I
Yes.
am using my own brain map, and you will be using your own brain map.
Mm,
But however, the essence of the story stays. And
mm,
that is the beauty about a story. That,
mm.
because in the ancient times, there was no paper, and there was
Right.
we
Just
weren't
story.
typing things on computer. We were not writing things. And wisdom was passed through spoken word.
Mm.
And imagine in the spoken words telling a concept versus, and especially when you have to reach the masses where everybody has a different thought process versus telling a common story.
Right. Oh,
So
that's wonderful, Neha. Story, I mean, Jesus, he spoke in story all of the time because of what you said. People are more open to listening to a story than if you're giving your opinion or your point of view.
yeah,
People receive a story, they enjoy a story, they remember it. I actually just watched something on Netflix. I can't remember what it was, but they were speaking to the fact that stories have been passed for so long because of that fact. And I remember them talking about, you know, Little Red Riding Hood, and
Mm.
you know, it's the story has changed, but there's specific points to the story that are the same. And I remember that one specifically because they talked about, you know, the mother abandoning the child on her own, a perpetrator coming in and harming the child or putting the child in danger, fear. And the way that they spoke to it, it was, you know, very aligned with the work that I do. And I'm like, that's interesting because I never thought of it that way. I just thought of the story of Red Riding Hood. But if you break it down to the points that stay the same, no matter who is doing their rendition of the story, there's always similar points. Thank you, Uriel. Yes, the lessons, why we're there, and always morals to the story. Yes, there's always something to learn from the story. So that's one of the things I really appreciate about you, Neha, is that you use story to demonstrate.